This is Hanging with Hayes, the podcast where real life takes center stage. I'm your host, Chelsea, wife, virtual assistant, photographer, dog mom, and entrepreneur. Join me as I dive into the everyday experiences that shape our lives, relationships, and everything in between. Remember, these are my personal opinions, so take them with a grain of salt. Get ready for candid conversations and genuine insights. Welcome to Hanging with Hayes.
Yay!
All right. We're just going to dive into a serious topic now.
Oh, I'm good with serious.
Oh, are you?
Nope.
I don't know if I believe you. Understanding gender dynamics. Men are logical, women are emotional, and importance of emotional protection and understanding feelings.
I've learned a lot about women thanks to TikTok.
You're self-taught.
Oh, self-taught. No, it's funny because, like, as an observer, you know, as an overthinker, you see things and you're like, wait a minute, why are they saying that? You kind of dissect it a little bit. And
I think you dissect things a lot.
a lot. That's the benefit of overthinking, because you see something, you're like, what does that mean? They said hi. Oh.
And then you send it to me as homework.
Yeah.
Did they say this right?
Well,
oh my God.
The communication between men and women it's important to understand that, because if you don't understand that, you're not getting anywhere. You know, because women base everything off of emotion, all their choices off of, you know, everything off of emotion. And men are logical. Like, I'm going to the grocery store to get A, B, and C. I walk in the grocery store, I get A, B, and C, I go check out, and I walk out.
Unless you're Zach, and then you go get pickles that you don't need. But...
Right. Well, it's amazing, like, when you think about the dynamic, you know, and just the fact that I've seen people that can just make the dynamic work, you know, because my parents have been together almost 50 years. You know, I've seen lots of people that have been married longer than that. And you have the happy couples that you can still see it when they look at each other, and that's beautiful. And then you got the people that are just like...
They're married because they're married.
Yeah, they're married because they're married,
Yeah.
You know. And it's unfortunate, but I think it's important to pay attention to your partner, because...
At all times.
At all times, yeah. Because there was times in the past, I've been single for a long time, but my last relationship, you know, if she changes her hair color, her hairstyle, if, you know...
Say something.
Right, exactly, you know.
Even if she got a quarter of an inch of hair cut off, say something.
Right. And it's funny, because if you're an overthinker like I am, like, especially, I don't know if it's a military thing or not, details matter. You got to look at the details, every little, you know, get your ducks in a row. So, like, when I'm with my person, I'm looking at details, you know. I'm looking at the color of her eyes. I'm looking at her facial expression when she looks at me. I'm looking at, you know, how she responds when I touch her, you know, that type of thing, like every little detail. And it's important to pay attention to that. And it gets more important down the road.
Body language is very important.
Very important. Because...
I don't think there's enough emphasis on body language.
Yeah, body language is important. But especially if you know someone's an overthinker, there's a lot of... They
need a lot of words of affirmation.
A lot of words of affirmation, a lot of understanding, a lot of crystal clear,
acts of service.
You know. But it's amazing too, because when you get to know somebody and you really understand them, when you get to that point, I think it's a beautiful thing, because I think subconsciously you'll notice things.
Oh yeah.
You know, because like you know, my ex-girlfriend, we were together for a while, and there'd be times where we just look at each other and we just know it's time to go, or it's time to, you know, do whatever. And, you know, it's emotional connections are very powerful, you know.
Did I ever tell you about the time when Zach and I had a conversation, like a full-on conversation with 0 words, and it was just what was happening in that moment?
Just facial expressions?
It wasn't even that. So it was me, Zach, our cousin Kevin, and his girlfriend were all sitting on the couch one night. And like clockwork, Zach loves ice cream. That's his thing. That's the only sugar he eats is ice cream. He will eat his weight in ice cream. He goes to the kitchen. I immediately know where he's going. He's going to the drawer with the spoons. He grabs a spoon. He doesn't get a bowl. He goes to the freezer. He never gets it out of a bowl. He always eats it right out of the carton. He opens the freezer, says, fuck, closes the freezer. I immediately know we're going to Dollar General to get ice cream. He doesn't say a word. He puts the spoon back into the drawer, goes into our bedroom, grabs a hoodie. I'm getting off the couch because I know where we're going.
Right.
He grabs the keys and starts the car. And I said, I'm ready. And he looks at me and he's like, what? I'm like, we need ice cream. Yep. We had a full-on fucking conversation, and Kevin looks at me and goes, holy shit, you got all of that out of all of that. I'm like, yeah.
Right. And that, to me, that's one of the most beautiful things, because when you're getting to know each other and getting a relationship, you're basically just trying to learn that person. And if you can get kind of like what you guys did, just get ahead of what they're doing, you know what they like, what they don't like, what they're expecting, what they're going to do before they do it. It is unreal how much better the relationship can get.
Yeah.
You know, because there was times where I would spend the night at my girlfriend's house, and, you know, I was working construction at the time, and I would come back, and she understood that as soon as I walked in the door, I needed about 30 to 45 minutes because I was dirty from work, but I was stressed out. Well, no, I was just stressed out, you know.
Yeah.
I was an apprentice for 5 years, and when you're in the construction trades as an apprentice, and I started out, I didn't know what half the tools were. I didn't know, you know, so I'm uphill battle the whole way. Plus I'm weak as shit. I couldn't pick up anything real heavy. I was scrawny, and I was fresh out of the military too. So trying to transition back into civilian life. So it was just uphill battle the whole way. And she knew after a polite conversation that we had that when I walk in the door, I need 30 minutes just to decompress, and, you know, because I think a lot of people don't understand that when a man comes home from work, he needs to get all the bad stuff out of his system, because we don't want to take it out on who's at home waiting for us. We don't want to take it out on the dog, the kids, the girlfriend, wife, whatever. We want to just, that's why guys sit in the parking lot, you know, in the car and driveway, you know, for 15, 20 minutes just to, you know, silently scream, because
Or scream.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the worst feelings in the world when you're doing a job you hate, but you have to stay because you can't financially do anything else at the time. And there's a lot of people in that position, and
A lot.
I wish things could get better, but unfortunately things are only getting worse from here because of inflation and everything else. But you know, a few sacrifices, you know, and that's one of the things I learned too a while back. You know, you can't be afraid to take a step back. You know, if you can get a cheaper vehicle instead of buying a brand new one to save some money.
You don't need it.
Yeah, I mean,
Look at what I'm driving.
And that's a lot of, I think it comes with maturity too, because when I was younger, I wanted the nice car, I wanted the nice truck, I wanted the nice house, you know, and
Had to have the best.
yeah, and now that I'm older, I'm like, I can go finance a truck, or I can pay $5,000 cash for that car.
Finance a $70,000 truck.
Right. And $70,000 for a truck is insane.
I know.
It's insane. But,
And that's a gasser. It's not even diesel.
yeah. It's got to be diesel.
Diesel.
I need those smokestacks.
Listen, we don't have them anymore, okay?
Okay. For now.
No, he won't.
You won't?
No, he's not putting that back on the Mega.
Okay.
He's just putting one like a regular.
Squirrel.
Yep. Not a stack. Regular exhaust off the side.
ADD is great.
Wow. And I don't have it.
Yeah. You need more coffee.
I think I have a lot. You know, okay. Speaking of coffee. You know the instant coffee that says 2 teaspoons with water?
No, but go on. Instant coffee. I'm a man. I have someone else make it for me in a coffee shop.
Bitch, I use 2 tablespoons. I don't use teaspoons.
Well, one of my friends does that.
Yeah.
I was privileged enough to stay with him for a little while they were helping me get a different job a while back before I realized I need to go back into trucking. But I was figuring out how they make their coffee, and it's like, here's the Folgers, and then you just
Yeah.
nice and strong. But
It doesn't do anything to me. I don't
Nothing.
feel anything. I could take a nap.
Take a nap. Yeah.
And I don't have ADHD. I think that's bullshit.
Well, it's crazy, you know, how, you know, you get in that routine of, you know, large coffee before work or 10 energy drinks.
Oh my God. And then you have a migraine if you don't drink it.
Right.
That's my problem.
Yeah. That's why I started drinking coffee, actually. I'd wake up with headaches, and the only way I could get rid of it is a cup of coffee, because I never used to drink coffee.
Really?
Yeah, I never drank coffee. I didn't drink it in the military. I didn't drink it the whole time I worked construction.
Oh my God. I love it.
And I started driving truck, and my cousin drives truck out on the East Coast. He's like, you need to get coffee. I was like, I never had coffee. He's like, well, it'll help with the headache. I'm like, okay. So I went out, got
It
coffee.
just tastes good.
And it's funny because if you never drank coffee, you don't know what bold coffee is or mild coffee or,
You can tell the difference now.
oh man.
Blonde coffee is,
Yeah.
it's stronger. You know that, right?
That's ironic to be called blonde coffee and be stronger.
Yep.
It seems like it would be lighter.
It's lightly roasted. So when I was a barista, we had blonde espresso.
Okay.
And the blonde espresso, we had a limit to how many shots somebody could have legally.
I can only imagine some people come through there.
Oh, there was a man who worked for AT&T. He'd come in and get 6 shots of espresso with water, so an Americano, which is like gross by itself, but whatever you want to do, bud. He got to the point where he said, Chelsea, can you please give me 7? No. By law, I am not allowed to give you any more than 6 shots of espresso. This man was like 6'5", so I know he could fucking handle it. But I'm like, your fucking heart's gonna explode, Chachi.
I didn't know what espresso was. I was driving a truck with my buddy. We were teaming.
I hope you're saying espresso, not
Espresso.
X-espresso.
Yeah, I don't drink it anymore. It's an espresso now. we were teaming, which means one person's driving for 11 hours while the other person sleeps, and the other person wakes up, drives, the other person sleeps. It's just back and forth. Drive, sleep, and you can make a lot of money doing that.
I bet you could.
But there's these brands of coconut water called it's a C2O brand.
Yep.
It's just coconut water.
Coconut water.
Yeah, the big can. Well, they had these ones that had espresso in it.
What?
Yeah.
With coconut water?
Yeah. It sounds disgusting, and it was. But I'd never had it before. I started drinking coconut water because it's like water with electrolytes. So you're hydrating yourself, and it's an acquired taste. If you've never had coconut water.
I love coconut water.
Yeah, it's good for you, but some people don't like the taste. I hate the taste of coconut, but I like coconut water. It's weird.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you not like the texture of coconut?
I just don't like the flavor of it. It just, something about it's just kind of
like
weird.
Coconut flavoring or real coconut?
I don't know the difference.
There's a huge difference.
Okay.
It's like cherry and cherry flavored things.
Right.
Not the same fucking thing.
Right. So I'd get these cans of coconut water while driving at night, because I'd be driving from 10 o'clock at night to, 10 o'clock in the morning. So you're driving all night long in the dark. And the very worst part of the day is when the sun's coming up. Like, you can be fine, wide awake all night long, but as soon as the sun starts coming up, it's just like, you're just like, it's so bad. And you can be fine all night, but as soon as the sun comes up, you're just like, it's just like a glitch in the Matrix,
Glitch in the Matrix.
But I started drinking those espressos. I drank one, and I never drank them anymore after that, because, it's this 16-ounce, can of coconut water espresso, and I never had it before. So I slammed the whole thing, and I'm sitting here driving, and all of a sudden I'm just like,
the whole thing. Oh no. Did you
Yeah.
feel your heart palpitate?
yeah, heart palpitating, and I couldn't go to sleep after driving 11 hours in the dark.
Yep.
Sun came up, and I'm just like, hey, look, sun's up. Wasn't sleepy at all, nothing. And then he started driving, and then 6 hours later, I'm still awake. I hadn't slept at all.
And then it was your turn?
Yeah, and then I started driving, and I was awake all night again, and then finally at the end of that shift,
How
I was
many
able.
ounces of this was it?
I think it was 4 shots of espresso in the 1 16-ounce can.
Oh, that's not horrible.
Yeah, but after that, I was like, no, I need sleep.
I drink like 5 or 6 shots and I'm good.
It wasn't bad
very
because
weird.
I was driving, I was wide awake, I was alert. But the end of the second shift, after being awake for 24
Oh,
hours,
yeah.
like the crash off of that
You
is
feel
is the
not
worst.
human.
Well, it's weird because when you get done driving, most of the time you're mentally tired because you got to look at the mirrors, make sure you're in the lane, you got to watch traffic.
You have
stop
so
going.
much shit to do when you're driving.
Oh yeah, and you have to pay attention to everything. And so when you get done at the end of the day, it's not like you're physically tired, but mentally you're just like,
You're tapped.
right. But when you're coming down from an espresso high,
Yeah.
it's not that you're mentally tired. It's just like,
You're physically tired.
I'm gonna die if I don't sleep. Just.
You are physically tired because your heart was palpitating.
Well, people need rest for a reason. Rest is very important.
Yeah.
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 But just being in a truck while it's moving, trying to sleep.
Oh my
Those
God.
things are not designed for
No.
comfort.
No.
Especially if you're on certain roads in the country, like Arkansas has terrible roads. So if you're
Oh.
trying to sleep and the truck's just, and it's not quiet, and they got a curtain in the truck, so you can close the curtain so it's not as bright, but
That
it,
only
it
helps
doesn't
so
help.
much.
I mean, you get used to it.
Headphones.
Yeah. Well, it's funny when you get out of the truck and then you're sleeping in a regular bed. It's weird because
You can't sleep.
you can't sleep because it's quiet.
not bumpy.
It's not moving. Like I can't sleep unless there's a fan on or some kind of background noise because.
We have to have a
Yeah.
fan. We
Once you
travel
get-
with a box fan.
Yeah, because if I don't have background noise, I'll hear everything. Everything. And I don't know if that's just from that or whatever, but.
We like physically cannot sleep without a fan at all. And I will take a box fan to wherever the fuck we go. I mean, unless it's like on a plane.
Right.
But a lot of those like Airbnbs we stay at have box fans,
It's nice.
which is so
It
nice.
helps so much.
Thank you. At a hotel, you can ask for one too.
Oh, you can?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
A fan, not a box fan.
Oh,
We're hillbilly. We have to have our box fan.
right. Presentation, how you dress and present yourself is very important because it's kind of a way of introducing yourself before you open your mouth. I'm a big believer that actions speak louder than words.
100%.
You can say what you want, but if your actions don't reflect that, So a lot of times, especially if I'm dealing with a female, I don't really listen to what they say. I watch what they do because, it's important to pay attention to things.
Yep.
Details matter. But in the past, you would know who the good ladies are from the bad ones based on how they're presenting themselves. Usually how they dress. In the past, people with tattoos were the bad girls, and you'd see the goody two shoes.
Bad.
Yeah. You see the goody two shoes, in the sundress with their hair done up nice in a bow and they're sweethearts. They'll talk softly, but, nowadays everyone kind of dresses the same. A lot of people have tattoos. It's hard to, as a single guy, it's hard to know the difference between a good one and a bad one visually from a distance.
Right.
Unless you talk to somebody, there's not really any way to know. And I think that's a struggle for a lot of people because, everyone on the internet's crying, "Oh, where are the good men at?" And we're over here wondering where the good women are at. You're all dressing the same, And
Literally.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that video of those girls that all are wearing white t-shirts with the same jeans and the same shoes and the same hairstyle?
I saw a video like that. This guy's driving by a sorority, and he's
Maybe
like,
it's the same video.
yeah, it's like, "You'll never find another girl like me."
And they're
then,
all
like, there's like 100 women in line at Starbucks. They're all blonde, wearing white shirts and
Yep.
blue jeans or
Yep.
something, all dressed the same.
All the same.
All getting the same coffee probably. It's just
Yeah.
like, bro,
Get your own
come
personality.
on.
And then you got one girl wearing a red shirt. Then what?
Oh, she's a unicorn. I'm like a bull. Gotta go after it.
Shut the fuck up. Oh my god.
Well, it's funny too because, you'll hear a lot of people say, "Don't tell me how to dress." And they're absolutely right. Especially from a male perspective, you never want to tell a woman how to dress. But I do believe there is a difference between how you dress when you're single versus how you dress when you're taken. Because obviously, if you act single and dress like you're single, that's fine. But once you're in a relationship, you shouldn't be dressing single, right? Because I think a lot of people understand that if you dress a certain way, you get a certain kind of attention. So if you're single and you're trying to get attention, great, do your thing. But I think there's a big amount of confusion with younger women. They don't understand men, and they don't understand like there's a big difference in how you dress when you're single versus taken. Because if it's my job to protect you, and you're putting yourself in an environment where you're going to get unwanted attention, that means that I'm having to deal with that because of your actions, right? And it's important to understand where the male is coming from. Yeah. Well, imagine you hire a bodyguard, and the bodyguard's job is to protect you, right? And the bodyguard's going to tell you different things to do, and maybe how to dress, how to move, where to go, when not to go. And you're paying this guy to protect you. Now imagine you tell him, "Don't tell me not to go here. I'm not listening to you." Or imagine telling him, I'm not going to do that or this and that, right? That bodyguard's going to sit there and wonder, why am I here if you're not going to listen to me, right? And I think there's a big disconnect because most of the time, if you have a boyfriend, their job is to protect you. Like they're your person, right? Like you're their person, and they want to make sure you're safe. And there are bad people out there. You know, there's bad men everywhere. You know, and I can understand it's scary for a lot of people, but a lot of that can be avoided. And like I said, ladies can wear whatever they want. I'm not telling women what to wear, what not to wear, but it's important to understand that your man has your best interest at heart, and he wants to make sure that you're safe, and he doesn't want to expose you to the world that's
What's his?
well, no, it's not. I wouldn't want my girl to be in a situation that can be avoided. That's it. You know, if if I can prevent something bad from happening, I would rather do that. And that's it. You know, because if you dangle meat in front of a lion, you can't get mad at the lion for salivating. You know, and there's the reason why they call men dogs, because, you know, with a dog you reward good behavior and you punish bad behavior, right? You know, it's the same type of thing in a way. Kind of, maybe, not really.
I mean, yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
I'm just thinking of, okay. So I'm going to ask you this.
Okay.
And I know you and I have had this conversation before. But growing up, I grew up in a very conservative Christian household. And
Right.
I wasn't allowed to wear a bikini or anything like that ever. And then when I turned, oh my God, how old was I? 16, I had a tankini. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Okay. So I had one of those. But I had a skirt,
Right.
which is fine. But I also was really small, and then I gained a ton of weight. I was never comfortable wearing anything other than that, being 205 pounds. And then I lost the 75 pounds. I wanted to wear a bikini. Zach has never, ever told me no about wearing something. He's always like, whatever you feel confident in.
Right.
Because he knows I can handle myself in situations too.
Exactly.
I'm not putting myself in situations where I know I'm not going to be able to get myself the fuck out.
Right.
But there's obviously a modesty that I use with what I am wearing. Like crop tops. I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, don't fucking wear crop tops. You're a
Right.
married woman. But like, what is my belly button doing?
Right.
If my belly button is attracting a man, there's a problem with that man.
Right.
It's not me. So it's like, it's really hard for me. I agree with you fully.
Right.
That like gives me anxiety.
Right.
Where was I going with that? Fuck.
Gives you anxiety because of, you know, trying to.
Yeah, it gives me anxiety in the fact like I'm still trying to be modest, but I also want to wear things that make me feel confident in who I am because
Right.
I did all that work.
Right.
But I'm still very careful about the outfits that I wear because I am respecting my husband. And I
Right.
think that's a really weird line that a lot of people don't understand.
Well, the other thing too that's very important to add to this, say for example, I'm going to get married, right? And this isn't to bash anybody, right? But if I'm going to get married to somebody, I'm going to give them my last name. And if traditionally, yeah. If I give them my last name and they're going to be on my arm and I'm like, this is my person, right? It's very important that that person is a good representation of me and my values, because people are going to look at me and say, well, that's the woman he chose, right? So it's important to be the kind of person you want
On your arm.
Yeah. And if I want a certain type of person, I need to be a certain kind of man. And that just goes back to leveling yourself up and getting where you need to be as a man. And
I like that you said that because when we were at Zach's Christmas party for his job, I watched him walk through the casino, and the way that he held himself was so like proud. And I was with my girlfriend. We were just standing by a slot machine getting a mocktail, and I just watched him, and I was like, The way that he holds himself is so high.
right.
And I know I catch myself doing the same thing the way I walk too. But people have said things like that to me. You hold yourself so high, right? Because I'm confident in who I am, but I'm also confident because my husband has helped me
Right.
become that person.
And it's such a big flex when you have a partner
Hell yeah, it
that
is.
you know is your ride or die, like
Yep.
loyal no matter what. Like,
Loyal as fuck.
yeah, and it's crazy if you lose everything today, you're still together. Because it's not about what you have; it's about each other, and that's
Yeah.
so rare these days.
It's just like Zach getting in that accident, like you said the other day to me.
Yeah.
Like, if he wasn't, I mean, yeah, he was laid off, but if he had lost his job because of that, it scares me so much. We're at 50 seconds.
Okay. Well, one more thing, real quick on that topic. I think it's important to understand that men are raised how to treat women, but we're not raised on how to or what to expect from them. And it seems like women are raised on what to expect from men, but not how to treat men. Because it's
There's a huge disconnect.
huge disconnect because what men want and what women think men want are just not in
They're
alignment.
not even in the same fucking ballpark.
Not even in the same category.
No,
No.
not at all.
It's important to understand that.
So let's talk about embracing femininity. Femininity. That's all. Feminine power.
Feminine power. Well, this is an interesting topic because I don't know how many people have ever seen this situation happen. You ever seen a lady walk into a room and the entire room changes?
Yes.
It's unbelievable. Like Audrey Hepburn, right?
Stunning.
Stunning, classy, soft-spoken,
Classic.
very feminine.
Bad bitch energy.
I think it's very powerful when a woman embraces being a woman because
And she knows.
and she knows, right? And classy, confident is so attractive. When I was in Arizona, there was a lady that would come into the gym, and she would come in a full body dress, very modest, very classy, and she'd come in there every day, heels, hair up. I don't know if she worked at a news agency or something, but very classy. And then when she worked out, her gym clothes were very modest as well. But when she walked into the gym, you could feel the gym change. Like, men behave differently around classy women. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to,
They don't know how to act.
Well, this is something that a lot of women don't understand. It's like there are women that you see that you're like, wow. But it's not wow as in like, wow, she's attractive. It's like, wow as in I need to level my shit up because I don't feel worthy to talk to
I feel
that
like
woman.
there's an aura about those women.
There is. And it's a beautiful thing because on the one side, she's a very confident, classy woman. But on the other side, it's like, I need to be better as a man. Because when you see a woman that you're like, wow, it kind of helps you get a little self-reflection to, I'm in hoodie and blue jeans and she's in this classy dress and I would like to go talk to her, but I should put on a suit because talking to a woman like that, I should be in a suit, right? And that's the power of femininity because femininity can make men want to be better men, but unfortunately, we're in a society where
Being feminine is frowned upon.
yeah. But it's funny because you look at some of these women, even on social media, even on one of your videos, they're getting mad.
They get pissed at me.
Oh, you're just to pick me. Well,
I got picked.
yeah. Well, that's the whole thing. It doesn't make any sense to me because who asked you to marry you? The guy. So if you want to get
I
married,
didn't force him.
yeah. If you want to get married, isn't it your whole thing to get picked?
Yep.
Like, you want him to put a ring on it. You want him to pick you. That's what a pick me should be.
Apparently, my definition was wrong
Oh,
of pick me.
okay.
Like, completely wrong.
Really?
Like, when people... This is high school, okay?
Right.
Like, when a girl would come up with a full face of makeup and the pick me girl would say, oh my God, I can't believe you're wearing so much makeup. I could never wear that much makeup. Like, make herself sound more
Right.
like that.
That makes sense.
But the pick me is still
Yeah.
pick me. Like, isn't that the entire fucking point?
Yeah.
You have all these men that you want at all times, but you can't just...
Well, I think it's
I
a
don't
pretty
know.
big flex for a woman to have a fiance or a husband because social media, it's insane. Like, there's people that are graduating high school with 500,000 followers.
Yeah, that's
And
wild.
if you're 18-year-old female and you've never had any life experience, you're just getting out of high school and you got 500,000 followers, if a guy comes up and talks to you, I can't imagine that going well if he's not super attractive or whatever, because getting so much attention from so many people at such a young age, it's the internet's not reality. It's a facade, and most
Yeah.
of the time, people on social media aren't seeing the real you,
Yeah.
and
They
it's
see little bits and pieces.
well, Instagram's like a highlight reel, TikTok's kind of a
Shit show.
shit show. It could be anything, and it's funny because a lot of times people post stuff, but you don't see the real them, because there's a lot of women on social media that'll post, photos and videos and stuff, and you're like, okay, cool, you travel the world, okay, you're, this and that, but you don't see the personality.
I try to be myself on social media.
Well, it's important, I think, to do that because being genuine is so rare nowadays.
It is.
It's so hard to find genuine.
I think people can read right through it, though.
Right.
You know?
But the point of what I was saying was there is no way to tell a personality for the most part. Yes, men are visual. That's why sex sells. But you could be the prettiest girl in the world if you don't have a brain, if you're not fun to talk to, it doesn't matter.
He ain't gonna pick you.
Nothing. You gotta have something else. And that's what I think a lot of people don't understand about men. Like, we're so simple. Just be kind.
Yeah.
Just be nice. Smile.
Smile goes a long way.
And it's so underrated too, because
Because it's small.
it's small. Yeah.
And people think everything has to be huge.
And I've seen a lot of women get mad. Like, oh, he just asked me to smile. He just wanted me to smile. Yeah. Most women look amazing when they smile. The whole face lights up. Like, some of those beautiful women I've ever seen have just been just sitting there laughing. And seeing happy people is so attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the biggest green flag.
Yes.
Especially if they got a sense of humor
Oh my God.
and it's dark.
Yeah. And they can just, banter off of your humor with you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a girl in that class when I was going to in Tucson, a little Latina, beautiful, friendly, goofy. I made a dark joke. Oh, it was so dark.
Did she laugh?
Not only did she laugh, she sent me a worse one back immediately.
I have chills.
And I'm sitting here like, huh? I was so caught off guard. I'm like, that was so dark.
Did you get her number?
She had a boyfriend.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. And they're married now. She's got several kids.
Damn it.
I'm happy for her. I'm happy for her.
Are you?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
I want the best for people.
I'm fucking
I
with you.
want people to be happy, And I'm not the kind of person, I'm pretty sure I'm not the kind of person that's ever going to get married. But,
Really?
yeah, I don't think I'll ever get married. I say that now and then watch what happens next year. I don't know. But I don't think I'll ever get married.
Like looking for people? No.
Yeah, I don't approach people. I don't
No.
go out of my way to talk to people. I'm kind of, I'm that guy that sits in the semi-truck, and then when I'm not in the semi-truck, I'm in the gym, and then when I'm not in the gym, I'm on TikTok trying to fall asleep.
You're on TikTok? No shit.
Yeah, I'm always on TikTok.
I know.
It's stupid.
I have friend homework every day.
Yeah, it was like 100 videos a day or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have 12 that I haven't looked
Talk
at
about
yet.
this. Talk about this. Talk about this.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
It just makes
Hey,
me
check
laugh.
out this rage bait. Yeah.
I'm like, yes, it is. Calm down.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing.
Do you ever get mad about stuff I tell you? Like
No,
after?
no,
Okay.
no.
Because I'm always like, oh, I hope he doesn't get mad.
It is so nice to have a female opinion because a lot of times I think I might be crazy, or
I think you are in certain situations.
certain situations, yeah. Because like I'll go down this like rabbit hole. I'm like, "Rah!" And then I'll send it to you, and it's like, hey, what do you think of this?
Like, oh my god, this is 8 minutes long. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Every single time there's anything over 5 minutes, I can expect at the end Zach is gonna say, "Oh my god, it's this long. I'm so sorry." I immediately know. As soon as I see that amount, I'm like, he's gonna say sorry at the end of this.
Yeah. It's a good way to. Voice messages are nice.
Yeah.
I never realized the benefit of a voice message.
Except they
They get kind of long.
take storage up in your phone.
Oh. Well,
I have
yeah.
to delete them every week.
Well, must be nice to be popular.
You send them to me.
Well, I know,
It's
but
you.
I have a phone too, and it's not full. All right. So.
Oh, mine is full.
I remember you sent me that picture, like 800 messages on TikTok. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah. All the time.
That's why I started texting you.
I know. And then sending them to me on Instagram and Telegram. But I can only.
Well, the ones on Telegram is just so I can delete them off my phone.
Oh.
So I'm going to delete these, but if I send them on Telegram, they're up there.
Oh.
So that way, if you want to go back and find them, they're right there.
I never want to go back and find them.
That's
they all
fair.
make me angry.
Rage bait.
All of them.
All of them.
98% of them make me angry.
Well, I think there's a big thing on social media that changed in the last, I don't know, 5 years since COVID.
Yeah.
When everyone was locked down.
Yep. People were bored.
Well, social media kind of changed the landscape because before social media, you kind of had to like date around to try to figure out everything, kind of learn as you go. But with social media, I think there's a lot of exposure of people's personalities and how they behave, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those weird things that you don't really think about until you actually like sit down and think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But think about back when Facebook got started. Yeah, I'm old. But when Facebook got started, I got so excited. I get on there. I got to talk to my friends and this and that.
But then he didn't.
Well, it's a weird transition because, like when I was younger, you know, when did Facebook come out? 2007,
Yeah.
2004, something like that.
I think it was like 2006.
Yeah, something like that.
I think I got it in like 2007 or 8.
Yeah, and you could talk to people, you can see this and that, and it was exciting. It's kind of like exploring, like when you're a kid, you're going somewhere new, this and that. But after a while, you kind of understand that people are kind of all the same. It's kind of all the same stuff, and there's nothing really new under the sun.
I think it is nice being able to catch up though with like my aunt and uncle that live in like Georgia.
Right.
You know, like that. I love Facebook for that.
Right.
Truly. But a lot of it I'm like,
Yeah, when it first started, it was great for stuff like that. Now it's just like ad, post,
oh my
ad,
God,
post.
the amount of ads
Oh, yeah, it's terrible.
on anything.
Yeah.
TikTok and Facebook are the worst for ads.
Yeah.
They drive me nuts.
It's like every other video on TikTok, sometimes the ad. I just click on it and hit,
Yes.
don't like it, unpleasant.
Yeah, unpleasant.
Unpleasant. I don't like this.
It's just unpleasant.
Yeah.
I love that word. I think a lot of the videos that you send me about like communication with your partner is so not talked about enough.
Like what?
Just in the fact that obviously men and women communicate differently.
Very differently.
Pink and blue
Yeah.
communication, totally opposite. But I think the lack of communication of women thinking that men can read their minds
Oh, my God.
is infuriating.
It is insane. He should know. He should just know.
No, he can't.
I'm not.
No.
I'm not a mind reader.
He's not.
And then this is something.
But are you? Let's flip it. Gender role, let's fucking flip it.
Yeah.
Can you read that man's mind? Probably not. You know what that man's probably thinking about? Probably a fucking cheeseburger.
Yeah.
He's not thinking about you.
I had an experience with my ex-girlfriend. She asked me a question, and you could tell before I even gave her the response, she already knew what she was going to say. And that's very important to listen, both partners.
To actually listen.
Listen to understand instead of listening to respond.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of talking that goes back and forth, but if you're not trying to understand the perspective of the person you're talking to, you're not going to understand them and why they said what they said and why they're doing what they're doing. And it's so important. But also timing, I think, is important too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because if I'm sitting down to play Xbox and, you know, all of a sudden she comes over and wants to talk, it's like, time out, time out. You can see him in the middle of a game. I understand that she wants to talk right now, but she needs to understand that I don't, because I'm not in that frame. I'm in the middle of a game, right? So obviously I don't want to talk right now. But, hey, look, understanding goes a long way. It's like, hey, I'll talk to you in a few minutes. This match is almost over, whatever, And also, it's very important to understand that when a woman talks to you, she doesn't always want you to solve a problem. I've learned a lot from TikTok. Sometimes she just wants you to listen. Just
You
let her
learn a lot
vent.
from me too.
Yeah, yeah. I need help.
No, you don't.
No, it's amazing what I've learned from social media. Just from watching videos, listen to people talk and all that.
We just want to hear. We just want you to just fucking listen sometimes, just
Yeah.
to fucking listen. But I think it is important to say that I want you to solve a problem,
Right.
or I want you to just fucking listen to me.
Communication.
I just need you to just fucking
Yeah.
vegetable with me.
Yeah.
And then when that happens, Zach will be like, "Well, what happened then?
Right.
And then what?" He eggs it on, and it
Right.
makes it funnier because then I want to continue to tell him more of these stupid details that
Right.
really don't fucking matter.
Yeah.
But it does matter to him because he's like, "Oh, well, she's telling me the story. It
Right.
has to be important."
Well, and I think it's the other thing too. If you're really into your partner and you care about them, hearing them talk, hearing about their
It
day.
can literally be about a fucking rabbit.
There was times where I was talking to my ex and she's going on about her friends, and I didn't care. I'm just sitting here like, yeah, ooh, okay.
Because her voice was open
Oh my
and
god,
out.
sweetheart voice. I'm a sucker for sweetheart voice. It's just amazing when someone's got a nice voice. Green flag. Which is why tone is important.
It is.
It is very important.
It is.
It's important to talk to your partner, not at your partner.
Yep.
There's one thing I saw on TikTok the other day. It was amazing. It was saying whenever there's a problem in the relationship, it's not you versus your partner versus the problem. It's you and your partner versus the problem.
Correct.
We're on the same team.
Correct.
Let's treat each other like that and go after that thing together.
It's just like Zach dying on a snowmobile.
Right.
That was the problem.
Yeah. I'm surprised you haven't got rid of those yet.
No, man. That shit's coming out next fucking winter.
Next winter. Yeah.
I am never going to tell him to not do something like that. And it still amazes me how many people still say that to me.
Well, it's important to let somebody be themselves,
Yep, I chose that.
Yeah.
I knew that he's an adrenaline junkie. I'm not a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I know that. And I also, now that I'm thinking about this, you choose who you marry, but you also choose their family, who
Yeah.
you also marry.
Yeah.
For example, I'm going to make a video about this today, but this is already going to be on TikTok, whatever. But my mother-in-law walks in the door yesterday. She doesn't knock because that's our relationship. I adore his mom. She lives right there. She comes in and goes, "Hey, I got you this," and shows me this little like crock jar thing. It's not a crock shoe. It's a jar. I thought you'd like it for your porch because I decorate my porch.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. I love it. She brings me candles from TJ Maxx all the time. All the time. She goes, "I was halfway across the yard and I could smell how clean your house was."
Wow.
Okay. 1, the fact that I have a relationship with my mother-in-law like that is great. 2, the fact that my mother-in-law complimented my cleaning. Huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I looked at her and I said, "Are you serious?" And she goes, "Yeah, your house always smells great, but it smells extra great today." Okay. I love you. Thank you. Thank you for this gift, first of all. And second of all, thank you for complimenting my cleaning. It was the most wholesome minute and a half conversation. And she's like, "All right, love you, bye." And then just leaves. You choose that person's family when you marry them. If you have shit with your mother-in-law, it's probably not going to stop. Can you handle that the rest of your life?
Well, that's an important topic because when you're marrying somebody, you're marrying them as they are currently.
Yes.
So if your husband's going to be a gamer, don't complain about him playing games.
Yep.
If he rides dirt bikes, don't complain about him riding dirt bikes.
Don't complain about him riding snowmobiles.
I know if I marry a woman, I can't change her. So how she is how she is.
Yep.
So if I don't like that as she is, I shouldn't marry her.
Yep.
Simple. Same thing with the guys. You see it all the time on social media. Oh, he's always playing games. Well, was he a gamer when you met him?
Mm-hmm.
I understand responsibilities change, but
Absolutely.
if you do what you're supposed to be doing and it's the end of the day, the kids are in bed or whatever, you want to turn the Xbox on for a couple hours,
Yep. There's nothing wrong with that.
you got to do what makes you happy, and if somebody's not cheering you on, like my ex-girlfriend would cheer me on. I'd be playing Call of Duty. She'd be sitting there, get him, get him, get him,
Oh, God, Zach cheers me on hard. It, like, kind of... Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. He cheers me on, like... It used to creep me out. Because he'd sit on my phone and just watch my TikToks with me in the room.
Right.
And I'm like, don't like that.
Cringe.
That makes me feel weird. I don't like the sound of my own voice. And
Okay.
everybody says they love my voice, which I'm like, oh, that's kind of okay, whatever.
Right.
But I never realized how much of a flex that was, because what he'll do is he'll take my phone and be like, what we post today? And then he'll read the comment. He'll read every comment. Every comment. And he'll be like, what does this say? Like, I have to decipher what some of these people are saying, because
Right.
I can't read some of them half the time. He reads everything because he's so invested
Right.
in everything that I do.
Right.
In the best way. And it is such a flex. At first I was like, oh, I don't want to hear myself. Please go to a different room. Or I'd remove myself because I'm
Right.
like, I don't want to fucking hear that. I've heard that fucking video all day long. Like, I don't want to hear it. But then I thought about it more and I'm like, man, that really is him cheering for me in a way that I didn't really expect.
Right.
And it's really cool.
Did I send you that video about the guy that built the house?
Built the house?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay, so this guy, he's dating this girl. He met her in art class. She was a painter, and they started talking and dating, and they ended up getting married. And she said when they first started dating that she always wanted to have a paint studio in her house. Yeah.
Oh, I have chills everywhere.
Yeah. So they've been dating for a while, and they get married on their wedding day, right? Well, on their honeymoon, they drive to this house in the middle of nowhere. It's got a nice picket fence, big lawn. It's a nice big house, looks brand new, like a big pole barn and everything. And she's like, what are we doing here? She's still in her wedding dress. Yeah. So he comes around, opens the door, gets her out, and walks her into the house. And he's like, what do you think of this? And she's like,
Oh my God, stop.
she's like, this is a beautiful house.
Oh, I'm going to cry.
And he takes her to the back, and the entire back half of the house is an art studio.
Shut up.
Yeah, and it was amazing because he's like, I remember when we first met, you were 19, and you said you wanted to have this in your house. I knew from the moment I met you, I wanted to do this for you.
Oh my
He had been building that house since they got engaged 3 years prior. Yeah, he gave her the house with that on their wedding day. I'm just sitting there like, bro, how did you know that far ahead? It was one of the...
Sometimes you just know.
Yeah, it was one of the sweetest things. I'm just like, wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that is relationship goals to a T. Like,
Oh.
he remembered her when she was 19. That's what she wanted. And she was like 23 when they got married.
Oh my God.
And he had been building the house since they got engaged. And it's just like, bro, it's some of these people, man. You see that video, you're like, okay, that's what love
That
is.
is to be seen.
Yeah. Like, he saw you, he heard you, he did it. It's yours,
Yeah. That's just like Zach wanting to make me a podcast room and had all that shit written out.
Yeah.
And I was pouting. I'm pouting because this room is cute. That's all. That's all it was.
It's
But
a nice room.
I could still do this downstairs.
Yeah.
It's just, I wanted to make it work because we had it.
Right.
It's one of those things. Save money.
It does.
That's all I want.
Well, this is fun though. It's a nice little setup you got here. And...
Yeah. I like it. That's Zach's great grandfather's guitar.
Really?
Yep.
Nice.
It's pretty fucking cool.
It's crazy if you look back 60 years ago where we were and where we are now. It's like, it's insane.
Mm-hmm. What are some lessons learned about women at almost 40?
Well, I've learned so much in the past 20 years or so. It's amazing what you can learn, and obviously you have to take a little bit of self-awareness and take a step back and like, okay, what am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? Type thing. And the biggest takeaway that I got, it's women are very emotional, and their emotions change very quickly.
Rapidly.
Rapidly. And it's very, important, I think, to understand that and to also be aware of those changes. That's, I think that,
Hormones too.
right. I think it's part of being seen because,
Yes.
you know, if you're really paying attention to someone you care about, it's important to also understand how they're feeling, what lifts them up, what tears them down. You know, especially when you're with somebody, you need to know.
Your phone is making me freak out.
Every time it goes off, I jump a little bit, but that kind of kicks my ADHD into gear. It's like,
I
oh,
don't like
focus, you know?
I don't like it.
But yeah, it's important, I think, to understand that because that's probably the number one thing. Like if you're talking to any female, you got to know she's emotional. You got to understand how she's feeling because she could have had something happen that day that you don't know about, which is influencing those emotions. Because I've met people that, you know, one day they're cheerful, bubbly, whatever, and then like I'll see them an hour later and it's this polar opposite. And you're like, whoa, what happened? You know?
She started her period. Just kidding.
I don't know. No idea. That's a topic that I'm not prepared for yet.
I'm giving you little bits and pieces of
Hey, I'm learning.
female cycles.
I'm learning.
It's weird.
It's definitely weird. Men and women are very different, and
Yes.
that's one of the reasons. But
But it's a beautiful thing that they're different.
the best thing a woman can ever give a man, other than being a wife, is a child.
Okay.
And that
I'm kidding.
that is, I'm just saying, you know.
And we're at time. I'm just kidding.
Imagine, like, I can't imagine finding someone to marry. That's just it's reality. But I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on
You're also not 140. You're
right.
39.
Yeah, there's still time, maybe.
So dramatic.
But it's important to focus on being the best version of yourself, and that
I mean,
give
you
it.
can't be the best version if you're not.
Well,
with
I think it's
somebody
important
else.
for guys to understand that even if you're in a relationship, even if you've been married 5 years, 10 years. I saw a guy that's been married 25 years, and he had a quote, and he says, "One of the things that I do to make my marriage last is every year on our anniversary, I ask myself, would she still choose me?" And that is huge because a lot of times you see people, "Oh, I'm married now, I don't have to try anymore." It's like you still need to stay attractive for your partner. You still need to dress nice for your partner. You still gotta, make sure you're staying healthy for your partner because you don't want to be that guy that's, 60 in a wheelchair if you can avoid it, you know.
Dude, I want to be fucking lifting some weights
Right.
when I'm 80 years old.
Well, that's one of the reasons I went back to the gym because I saw some of these older people that are just hunched over,
Yeah.
and it's like
They don't look strong.
they don't have back muscles to hold
Nothing.
themselves up.
No.
Because the back muscles, that keeps your spine up. So if you don't have back muscles by the time you're that age, you're just gonna be hunched over, and I don't want to be that.
No.
Yeah.
I think prioritizing yourself for yourself, but also
Yeah.
for your relationship and your children
Right.
is something that a lot of people stop doing.
That's my foot.
You little shit. I just had a heart attack. You just stop moving.
Squirrel. Well, I think a lot of the problems in dating could be solved if the men would just focus on being the best versions of themselves. Get off Instagram, stop following people that don't follow you back, if you know what I'm saying.
Also, do what you say you're going to do.
Do what you say you're going to do. If you say you're going to go to the gym, post it and then hold yourself accountable and post that you went later.
Or you
Yeah.
could be a weirdo
Weirdo.
and not post it
Not
and then
post
get
it.
jacked as fuck in quiet.
Right.
That's a fun one.
Yeah.
I love that. And insights. Signs that she likes you. Subtle cues and behaviors to look for. I need to go into that topic, though. We can't just jump into that.
Well, if I knew what that was, I probably wouldn't be single.
What reasons why she likes you?
Well, it's always funny because you look back and you can see it later,
Yeah.
but you never, like a lot of times I never saw it up front.
I think that's like having a conversation with someone and be like, fuck, I could have said that.
Yeah, when I was going to college, there was this girl that was a dancer. She would sit outside my classroom, and she'd be on her laptop, and she'd be doing, different things, making beats or whatever for dance routines and all that stuff. I'd come out of class, and she'd be sitting right there. I'd be going to class, she'd be sitting right there. And I'd say hi to her. She'd say hi to me, right? And then
She say hi first?
yeah. And there was one time I was waiting to get in class, and she was walking by, and there's all people in the class around me. She looked directly at me, said, "Oh, hey, Zach." And then smiled at me, eye contact, and kept walking. And 2 years later,
Hello.
yeah, 2 years later, I'm in Camp Pendleton on my Xbox playing Halo, And then
Not even thinking.
I just pause it, and then I'm just like, fuck. You know, and that's the life of a guy. Because if you don't throw a brick at our face saying, ding ding, I'm interested, half the time, you know, we're just not gonna have a clue. It's fucking hilarious. I saw a girl on TikTok. She was saying, I gave him the sign. Well, what sign did you give him? I looked at him.
What?
That's not a sign. Yeah, I looked at him and I smiled. That's not a sign either. That's not.
That's
you know?
being friendly.
We have no way to know.
No.
Well, the other thing too, it's like,
Oh my God.
because of the Me Too, because of the whole, he's a creep. And, you know, why don't women approach? Well, the thing about that is women don't want men to approach. They want the men that they want to approach approach. Mm-hmm. Not every man, just the ones they want. Mm-hmm. And if you're not the one they want, you're a creep, you're whatever. And
I learned about the sixes from that.
yeah, that's fun. But
I didn't know anything about that. And then someone told me. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Shows how long I've been out of the game.
Yeah, but the thing about that too, though, is like if a girl really likes you, most of the time it's completely obvious.
Yeah.
And unless you're unaware of what obvious is, like I was in the past.
It's quite clear that I like
Quite
Zach.
clear, yeah. It was
Not you, mine.
Well, yeah, obviously. I'm not as good looking as that operator. Stud.
He's a smooth operator.
Yeah, he's a smooth operator. Huh? I like that. It was funny though, you know, when he was back at the apartment. Like, I'd get up and get ready to go to work. And, oh, hey Zach. Yeah, so you're not paying rent, but go ahead, crash here, whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it was for like a month.
Right.
It wasn't very long.
Yeah. It was, well, it was a good thing though too, because it worked out, you know.
Everybody knew when Zach was there, though.
Yeah. Well, it was
fucking loud ass truck.
It was funny because, you know, knowing you then and knowing you now, like that dude's probably the best thing that ever happened to you.
Yep.
Because
100% agree.
I heard a phrase a while back where it's like if a flower's not blooming, you don't, you know, change the flower, or you don't pluck the flower, you just change the environment that the flower's in. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like when Zach came in there, it's just like, bloop, blossom.
Yep, there she is.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, he saved me in many ways.
It's good.
It is, because I could have gone down a lot different path. I probably, not to be morbid, but probably would have ended up in a coffin if I would have stayed with one of the men that I was with.
Yeah. So what would you say is probably the most important thing meeting someone for the first time? Because I see a lot of time on social media that women will see a guy or go on a date with a guy and they're like, oh, he did this, he did that. And they're so ready to jump ship instead of just sticking around, because it seems like if it's not perfect instantly, it's over. So what would you say to them to kind of get a little bit past that, or
give them grace?
Give them grace.
They're human.
Yeah.
That's not fair. Are you perfect?
Right.
No. He probably got, and I'm sorry, I hate this, but he got the ick about something you probably did too, but didn't want to post it on fucking social media.
Right.
Try it. Okay, if it's something as small as like opening a door and that gave you the ick,
right,
that's a you problem, babe.
Yeah.
It's not a him problem.
I'm a big fan of coffee dates.
Yeah.
I have a lot of people I've talked to in the past that, well, I'm not going to coffee. Okay, fine. You're not the person for me.
You could find out how good someone can belch at a coffee date.
Well, you see a lot of times people get mad, you know, like, oh, he didn't take me to this restaurant, or he didn't spend enough money. It's like, well, I don't know you.
Yep.
And just imagine a scenario where you're going on a date every night of the week, for example.
That's expensive.
It's expensive. It adds up
Coffee's
quick.
expensive.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah, and you can't rent anything under, you know, $1,800 a month now. So it's like, why would I spend $100 a week on dates, you know, if I don't know you? So a lot of times if I meet somebody, it's like, hey, let's go to the dog park. Hey, let's go for a walk. Hey, let's get some coffee, you know.
I really like what you said to me the other day when you sent me that one of the voice messages. You said, get a loaf of bread and feed seagulls. Loved that idea.
Right.
I love that.
Well, and this is the secret that a lot of men don't understand. If a woman likes you, she's not going to care what you do.
Fuck no, she's not going to care.
Won't care. If she's complaining about this and that, not for you, bro.
We went to the end of the pier and sat on the end of the pier for 4 hours on our
Yeah.
first date and watched this chick. This was at like 1 a.m, mind you. It ended up at 1 a.m. This chick was walking down the pier and a fish flopped out, landed on the pier, and then went back into the water. And this chick about fell into the water because she was so scared. And Zach and I were just fucking dying laughing. Like, it was the best first date ever, and it cost nothing.
Right.
But your time.
Yeah.
And genuinely just being in his presence in that moment was all my body needed, everything my mind needed, everything. I felt so at peace
Yeah.
in those 4 hours. I think it was like 2 weeks in of just doing stuff like that cost nothing,
Yeah.
that made me realize how hard I was falling for his soul. And
Right.
it wasn't just who he was. It was everything that encapsulated him.
Right. That's important.
And it cost nothing.
Yeah.
Our first date was at Chili's, and it was a month later.
It's good.
Date with money. Because we went on dates. We went fishing.
Yeah. Well, it's important. You know, one of the things I learned too is you never take a girl somewhere that you don't normally go. Mm-hmm. You know, because if I don't go to, you know, wherever the restaurant is or wherever this is all the time, why would I take somebody else there? Mm-hmm. This guy was talking on TikTok, and he had a really good point. He was saying, don't change who you are just because of who you want to date. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're always going to, you know, this gym or you're always going to, you know, this restaurant, take them to where you're always going. Because then it's a place you're always going.
I want a bicycle ride.
Right.
That shit's fun.
It is fun.
You don't have to spend money to get to know somebody at all.
Right. And it's important too, like now that I'm older, my peace is so important to me. Mm-hmm. You know, because being alone is very peaceful. And if you're comfortable with it, it's even more peaceful.
Yep.
And I met a girl a couple weeks ago, and she's just like, well, you're not talking to any girls. Yeah. What's your point?
You met a girl?
I did.
And you're just not telling me this?
Well, she was going through my social media, and she was, you know, all this stuff. And she's just like, well, you're not talking to anybody. Yeah. I don't talk to people. She's like, well, why aren't you talking to any girls? I'm like, why would I want to? You know, I haven't met someone I want to talk to yet. And she's like, well, then why are you talking to me? It's like, well, I think you're interesting. You can start there, you know. And it was just funny because I had to explain to her, I was like, you're not competing with other women. You're competing with my comfort zone. Mm-hmm. If I'm not comfortable with you, yeah. Because like, I've been single so long, I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah.
So you're not going to come into my life and give me something crazy to deal with. You know?
So crazy.
I mean, I understand there's a certain level of, you know, stuff that comes with a relationship, but the majority should be better than worse.
Yeah. That person should make your entire, how do you want to say it? Like just your entire aura and who you are a better thing.
Life should be better with them.
Life sucking.
Right.
You should never be around that person and just feel drained.
Right.
At all.
And I get drained around people so easy. So easy. There's very few people I can be around longer than an hour, and I'm just like,
well, we're there. So.
Right. Well, it's important because, you know, like I said, I'm single right now and I'm okay with it. Mm-hmm. You know, this is baseline.
Yeah.
You know, if someone comes into my life, I don't need them to make me a sandwich. I don't need them to jump when I say something, you know. Mm-hmm. It's nice to have a hug every now and then. You know, it's nice to have someone to talk to, have someone to spend some time with that wants to be there, that enjoys it, you know. But it's not something that you know, necessarily need, I would say.
Yeah.
And a lot of people get it twisted because, you know, you see all the time on social media, and it's very easy to listen to social media and be like, oh, men only want this. No. Your looks will get you in the door, but your personality and your attitude is what keeps you. You know, I've met a lot of pretty ladies that just...
also lack accountability, too.
Accountability is cancer to women, it seems like.
Some women.
Yeah, not all. Well, it's important to understand that a little bit of self-awareness goes a long way. You know, if you're dating a lot of guys and you're not having any success keeping them around, the common denominator is you.
Yeah.
And I know that, you know, if I've been single for a long time, it's me, right? I'm not approaching, I'm not going out, I'm not trying to do anything, trying to find someone. So I can't blame anyone but myself. I can't be like, oh, women just don't like me. Well, I'm a man.
But also women, sometimes, I'm sorry to interrupt you, people fall into your lap without you realizing it.
Right.
So even like not looking for Zach wasn't looking for anybody. I wasn't either. I was
Right.
dating somebody,
Yeah.
which is fucked up. But
Hey.
I don't regret that.
Right. When you know, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
And literally the fact that I had pizza come out my nose the first day that Zach met me, and he still fucking wanted to call me.
Yeah.
He's never bored.
Always laugh about something.
Literally all the time.
Yeah.
Last night we were watching Supercross, and it was a mud fest. It was the worst mud fest I've ever seen.
Was that the one in Louisville?
They were in Foxborough, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
Like ruts that completely ate dirt bikes. Like they were gone. They had to take it out with a fucking skid steer.
Wow.
Bad.
Okay.
So I don't know if I was just in a fucking laughy mood. Surprise, surprise. It was so fucking funny. The commentating of the announcers. Well, I can't really see who this is because their number plate is covered in mud. That made me laugh.
Right.
And then the fact of all these guys just like falling down because it's fucking muddy.
Right.
This is conditions that they're not used to.
Yeah.
And Zach had explained, well, you know, if you live in Arizona or Texas, you're not used to like weather like that because it doesn't rain like it does up here.
Right.
All the Michigan, Illinois, Ohio boys were loving it. Well, there was a part where the guy, when the announcers were like, well, thank you to our flaggers, okay? And so these, I mean, everybody's wearing rain gear, but the flaggers have helmets on with their flags. And there's this one guy who's a little bigger guy, and he's just standing there with his flag and his helmet on and like a raincoat, and he's just sitting there with his stomach sticking out, and he's I could not stop laughing.
Right.
And Zach is like, what is so funny? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. This entire thing is just funny. Like, there's just so many stupid things that make this funny. He's like, you're the only person that would think this is funny.
Right.
Like, you're not bored, are you? He goes, no.
Right.
I made him laugh. And it wasn't funny.
Well,
like, at fucking all.
Laughter is so underrated.
And it's contagious.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter what it's about. This morning we were driving to breakfast, and this bird, I always have fucking conversations with birds every time I'm driving while I was in the passenger seat. This bird was just flying like this, and I was like, up, just go up. And Zach is like, oh my God, this poor bird. And he fucking finally went up, but I'm like, why? And he goes,
Right.
do you have that many conversations with animals when you're driving? I'm like, all the time. All the fucking time. I don't know, but it made him laugh. He's
Right.
like, anybody else saying that wouldn't have made me laugh. It's just who it is also who's
Yeah.
making you laugh. Being contagious in laughter is fucking important.
Well, I saw this thing on TikTok, and it was perfect. Basically, it said, sure, sex is great, but have you ever been up laughing at 2 a.m. with your partner because you can't sleep and, you know, you're just sides hurt because you're just
Yeah.
rolling? It's one of the
That is
best.
so true.
You know, because it's unbelievable how sexualized social media is and society is, but it's like, that's not even the best part. You
Yeah.
know, it's like when you know someone down to your soul and you can just be laying in bed at 2 a.m. laughing over some stupid shit, and you just keep laughing because it just keeps getting funnier and funnier.
It is.
There's nothing better
It
than
doesn't
that.
matter what the fuck you're laughing about. It
Yeah.
could be like a hole in the wall, literally, and you could be laughing at the lack of the nail in the wall.
Right.
But it's funny because it's your person.
Yeah. And it'd be a dry sense of humor because it's drywall.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Jesus. Oh my
Laughter
God.
is the best medicine.
Yes, it is. We are at final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
You got anything else to say?
Oh, there's so much to say.
Spill.
Spill. Well, I think the most important thing as a man, like I said before, it's very important to be the best version of yourself at all times. At all times. If you're single, be the best version of yourself. If you're married, especially, you know, if you got kids, you know, because whether or not you have kids, kids are looking at you. And you're an example, you know. And what kind of example you want to be? Do you want to be that guy that's just, you know, taking 10 steps wheezing because you're, you know, so out of shape? Do you want to be that guy that's And it's Jack that's throwing his kids 10 feet up in the air and catching him while he's laughing,
Can I stop you real fast?
Sure.
This is just something that bothered me. Not about something you said, but like something somebody else have said in my comments about having children and not prioritizing yourself.
Right.
Someone said to me, well, I have 3 kids. I don't have fucking time for that. Let me remind you, you chose those children.
Well, sometimes they choose them, and other times, like my buddy.
Okay, they're married. They wanted children.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
If you're not prioritizing yourself for yourself and your partner and your children,
Yeah.
you're going to become bitter.
Yeah. And prioritizing your relationship on top of the kids is important too.
Yep.
Because
your partners first.
Partners first. I saw a video. It was beautiful on TikTok again. It was amazing. This guy comes home and he ignores the kids and he hugs his wife, gives her a big old kiss. As soon as he walks through the door, before he sees his kids, talks to his kids, whatever, he's like, "Where's my wife at?" And I think that's beautiful because eventually kids are going to grow up and move out. Maybe they'll stay a little longer. Who knows?
Your spouse is always there.
Your spouse is always there, but it's important for children to see that mommy and daddy love each other.
And they are sponges and they pay attention.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful thing because I saw another video, go figure. This guy was talking to his son. I guess his son mouthed off to his mom. And the dad's talking to him in the car. I heard you said something to your mom? Yeah, I said this, this, and this. And he's like, that's my wife, right? And he gets real serious. He's like, that's your mother, but that's my wife. You do not talk to my wife that way. And that's powerful because he's not talking about your mom. He's talking about his wife.
Yep.
You don't talk to his wife that way.
It doesn't matter who you are.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's powerful.
It's powerful because it sets an example. Like, he's talking to his son, and his son's eventually going to grow up to be a man, obviously. And it's important for men to understand, like, yes, that's your mom, but that's also his wife. He loves her.
She was there first.
She was there first.
She's the OG.
She's the priority. Eventually, you're getting up and you're moving out. You're going to do whatever, but
hopefully,
that's my wife.
Kidding.
Yeah. Well, it's just beautiful when you see some of these relationships and some of the interactions and stuff, and there's so many good ones.
Which ones are so good.
You can see so many good examples out there. And there's so many bad ones too.
And there always will be. But I think it's really neat to see those relationships like that, to comment that. Thank you for this. Thank you for putting that out.
Right. And reposting it and sharing it so other people see it.
Because a lot of people comment things like that on my videos. Thank you for saying this. That's so refreshing. Your take on this is so refreshing. Thank you for saying that.
Right.
Because that makes me feel good in knowing that, there is still hope for humanity in some aspects of relationships and healthy relationships.
Well, it's very important for people to see that there are good relationships out there and there are marriages that work and there are marriages that last. But it's also important to realize that love is an emotion. It's not a reality. You have to wake up every day and choose your person.
Yep.
Because
love is a choice.
If love is an emotion, emotions change.
Correct.
If you choose your person every day, it doesn't change.
Correct.
So it's very important to choose your person every day, but always talk to them with love. Always see them with love and understand them.
You also have to remember to like them.
Like them. Well.
Yes.
You can love someone.
You can always love somebody. Are you always going to like somebody?
Well, liking someone's an emotion. I don't like you right now.
No. But listen, liking somebody is like tolerating and dealing with every bit of them.
That's true.
You're going to always love somebody.
Right.
But if I don't like you.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I don't think I'd get to that point and not like them, though. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't
Maybe I would hope so.
Yeah. At least not anymore. 10 years ago was a different story.
Right.
Now it's a lot more like, nah, I'm good.
See ya.
Yeah, well, I think I've been single too long because now it's just like, do I really want to deal with anything? This is peaceful. This is quiet.
Have you forgotten how to compromise?
Well, probably, but for being honest,
accountability is everything.
Yeah. I mean, I could probably compromise, but the thing is, it's like, for me to get to that point,
You got to be bringing a lot to the table.
well, you don't even have to bring a lot. It's like, and this is
A
what,
lot means a smile,
well,
being kind.
it gets distorted on social media a lot.
Oh, it does.
Because women think, we like the BBLs and we like this and that. It's like, no, no. Like I grew up in a situation where it's like you don't date to date, you date to marry.
I mean, me too.
Yeah. So it's like
Dating to me is a job interview.
right.
As fucked up as that sounds.
It's like I don't want to just date around, which I understand you have to like kind of figure out and meet people and
Figure out what your type is, if
Yeah.
you like this or that.
But it's not a job, it's not a hobby. It's if I'm looking for someone that if I'm going to date them, I'm potentially going to marry them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I'm just going to meet someone and jump into a relationship and out of a relationship and into
No.
It's like I'm looking for permanent, not temporary.
Mm-hmm.
So unless I see permanent relatively quickly, I'm just like, nah.
Right.
And I've met some people that are great, but I can't see permanent. So I'm just like, no, I'm sorry.
So this girl that you met is not
Well, I met a lady a while back, and
a couple weeks ago.
no, this is further back.
I know, but I'm talking about a couple weeks ago.
Oh, well, the one I met a while back
Okay.
was wife material.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could see myself marrying that girl, but I'm a veteran, and because I'm a veteran, there's certain things that I am particularly aware of, and certain things that I do for my protection, the protection of others,
Mm-hmm.
like concealed pistol license.
Yep.
And this individual was incredible on every level. Like I would have probably been married to her by now, but she didn't like the fact that I carried a firearm, which is fine.
Yeah.
If you don't like that, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if that's the only thing you don't like, you just lost a husband.
Oh,
You know
that
what I mean?
Sucks.
Because compromise, I understand that, but if it's my job to protect you and myself and my family,
Yeah.
this is America.
Yep.
You
You believe whatever you want to believe, but
right. I mean, if that's for you, that's for you. That's
Yeah.
fine. I'm not
But
going to change anything.
pew-pews are for you.
Right.
Yep. Me too.
I like firearms. Some people don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. I'm moving on.
Yep.
And it's nice being single because I bought a lot of firearms. And I don't have to ask
So is
permission. Yeah.
You know who you just spent money on?
What?
A really fucking badass scope. It was like $3,000.
Wow. What kind was it?
I don't fucking know.
No.
Something cool.
I need
It's
to
got
talk-
like thermal something.
Ooh,
or
I need to
other.
talk to this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. BFFs.
He didn't have to ask my permission. He just did it.
Right.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
When people say, I have to ask my wife, no.
Yeah, I don't.
Now, if he's going out and spending like $35,000 on something, he's going to be like, hey, babe,
Yeah.
I want to do this thing. Is it cool? And I'll be like, yeah, let's talk about it. I'm not going to tell you no.
What's important? Finances nowadays. That was the other thing. The whole traditional thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at what traditional is, it's almost impossible at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Well, I mean, yeah.
well, if you were born in the 80s, your entire existence has been screwed because in the late 70s we went off the gold standard. So most people don't know this, but back in the 50s and 60s and 70s, on the gold standard, you could work at a gas station and support a family of four, buy a house, buy a car, because the currency was backed by gold. You get off the gold standard and you had inflation and, everything's 80% more expensive than it was in the 70s because of inflation and all that. And they can print money whenever they want and the value of it's crap. And even right now it's 2025. You can't buy a house. A decent house starts at $200. If you want to rent, it's $1,800 a month. But if you're always working to pay for it, you're never there. And then I would love to have a house, and then if I ever did get married, have enough money coming in where she wouldn't have to work if she didn't want to. She could work if she wanted to, but she wouldn't have to.
Yeah.
And that's a big difference. I'd rather have somebody that wants to work and does what they want to do instead of doing what they have to do. It's just
And that's exactly why I quit my job.
right.
I'm doing something that makes me happy. I'm not making... I'm at the point where I'm making more money than I was at my accountant job. And I'm working less hours.
Right.
So that's weird. But when I first started this, no, hell no, I was not making more money.
Right.
And it was more of my mental state was garbage. And Zach knew it. And he would do everything in his power to make sure that I was not in that place anymore.
Right.
That's a cool thing too, is having a supportive partner that is willing to
Yeah.
do these things with you, a ride or die, and make sure that, we're good. We're not gonna. That scares me.
Well, a lot of these jobs, those suck the life right out of you.
It did. And I was only at it for 7 months, and I
Right.
wanted to die. I cried every day.
I had a job, was last year I quit. It was just, I hate those jobs where it feels like you're in a straitjacket the whole time. Where you have coworkers that are just going to backstab you.
I felt like that, and I was here.
Right. You get gossiping coworkers and all this other stuff. It's like, why am I here?
Yeah.
And then you try to bring up suggestions to make everything work better, and no one wants to listen. And it's just.
I had a very micromanaging boss.
Oh, I hate that.
I hate
I hate that.
micromanaging bosses.
Yeah.
But I got to the point where it was on Zach's birthday. So that was awful. I
Right.
felt so bad. I was bawling my eyes out. He came home and he had just had a talk with his best friend about relationships. For 45 minutes, they were in the Burger King parking lot, and Zach was pouring his heart out to his best friend about this girl. He's like, I don't know what to do. And Zach's like, well, this is what I would do. It might not work for you, but like, this is my opinion.
Right.
So he's already like very keyed up emotionally. And then he walks in the door, and I am just like fucked up. I'm a mess. What's wrong? And I'm like, do you really want to know? Yes, I want to fucking know.
Right.
I'm like, it's your birthday. He goes, fucking tell me.
Right.
I laid it all out. I was like sobbing. I was done. And he looks at me. He goes, so when are you quitting? I didn't quit my job until February. That was in December.
Okay.
But we had talks every night. And he's like, I don't think you understand how much I got you. And I had told him, me quitting my job feels the equivalent of me jumping out of a perfectly good plane. And he goes, do you think I'd let you land?
Right.
With no parachute, you're out of your mind.
Right.
No, I'm not letting you go down with the ship without me. Like, are you kidding me?
Right.
But that ship ain't going down. He's like, I will work so many more hours to make sure that we can make this work.
Right.
Your business, because you believe in it, will work. And it has. And I'm
Right.
now at 8 clients,
Right.
which is insane. I just signed another one today for a little baby project, but he's still my client. But like, it's
Right.
cool because he believed in it. I believed in it, but I
Right.
didn't believe in it. I don't think I would have done that without him. Like, truly.
Right.
His pep talks are top tier, but I think a lot of people would get discouraged in doing something like that because their spouse isn't supportive. Well, I don't fucking want you to do that. It's not my part of my dream.
Right.
So now I'm doing everything in my power to make sure he gets his dream, which is building dirt bike tracks and traveling. But think about how fucking cool that would be.
Oh yeah, that'd be insane.
I want to be a Monster Energy girl. So like, could I do that and him do that at the same time? Like,
Right.
think about the TikToks I could make.
Well, if you do that, let me know. Start drinking Monster again.
I don't even drink them.
I don't either. I used to drink them all the time. Now I'm just like, all right, too many bad ingredients.
Dude, any kind of energy drink, I'm like, but.
I think it is very important, though, especially as a man, if you have a job that you hate. I have a job I like now. But if you have a job that you hate, it's important, I think, to always be looking for other jobs. Because there's times where I'd quit a job.
I think it's important for people in general.
Right. But it's powerful because there's times I jump a job and I'd give myself a $20,000 a year raise just by switching jobs.
Yeah. People don't realize that.
Yeah.
You don't ask for raises. You leave to get raises.
Right. And then you do that enough times, it's liberating because then you realize that you're okay if you leave.
Yeah.
You don't need this job because you can get another one.
Yep.
And that's very powerful.
And I got so invested in that because I was at the longest job that I had, not like a shit job when I was a kid. I had a fucking job for 10 years, okay? I was 9 to 19. I
Right.
don't count that job, but like, because it's not a real job. But my first real big girl job that I had for 6 years, I was so invested in that company. And my dad told me, You are just a number.
Yeah.
That company will thrive the fuck without you.
Doesn't care. Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah.
And then Zach said it to me again. I jumped ship and went to another job and went to another job. I had 3 different jobs in like 1 year.
Right.
I did not care. When I got to like the 3rd job, I was like, whatever. But that was the job that was like the cherry on top. I had to fucking leave. Like
Right.
It was time. And I don't think people realize how liberating it is to quit your job, to work for yourself, doing something that you believe so hard in, and then seeing it work.
Right.
And now a year later, I'm like, is this really happening to me? Like,
Right.
This is real life.
Yeah.
But he comes home every day and I'm smiling and I'm not bawling my eyes out anymore. And I'm
Right.
meeting him on the porch
Right.
with a smile on my face.
That's the dream life right there. Especially as a man coming home from work and your woman's there waiting. Oof.
Yep.
Especially when, it's your wife. She's happy to see you and it's the person you've been looking forward to seeing all day. It's nothing better.
And he fucking laughs at me too. Every single time he drives up that driveway. Okay, actually, hold on. I did this for one other person and I want to start doing it. I feel like it's cool.
Uh-oh. What's this?
This is called How Deep Will You Go?
Oh, no.
Don't be gross.
That's not what I was thinking. Until you said something, then I was like, oh.
All right. This is a very fun game.
Okay.
Level 1, icebreakers. I'm going to ask you 3 questions.
Here we go.
What motivates you in life?
I think the fear of failure. Yeah, and not talking English very good. I think the fear of public speaking on a podcast.
You're doing great. Okay. Let's do not icebreakers. Let's go a little deeper than that.
Okay, weird.
Confessions.
Oh, no.
Oh my god. Do you have misunderstood boundaries?
Yes.
What are they?
It's funny. Everyone's got quirks. Mm-hmm. Everyone's got things that are just that's just a no-go right off the bat, 0 tolerance type things. I don't know what it is, but when I hear somebody chew with their mouth open,
Oh my.
or especially if someone's got gum in their mouth while they're talking, oh my God, I would rather jump off a cliff.
Yeah.
Ugh, and it's one of those things where I'm just like, no, please stop. Finish eating, we'll talk. Or
Are we chewing our cud like a cow?
Spit the fucking gum out. Oh my God, And especially if they're just like, I'm like, oh, go away. Oh, I can't do it. And it's
But
one
it
of those.
doesn't bother you if a dog eats food really loud?
No, my dog would just be sitting there slurping whatever. I wouldn't even hear it. I'd be like, my dog's so cute.
It's because you love her.
Oh, I loved her so much. She was the best. But listen to people eat. I can't, like, my parents eat at their table in dead silence. There's no noise in the house, and the only noise is them eating and the dishes clinking. I'm just sitting there like...
Do they talk?
Oh, they do.
Oh, okay.
But, I love my parents to death. They're great. But I don't know what it is. I have to put headphones in when I'm eating. If you want to talk to me while we're eating, wait till we're done. I don't know why I'm like that, but that's just one of my things. It's like, sorry, this is weird. I know, but for some reason, it's just like, yeah. I don't know.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think that's gross, but
Yeah. I don't know.
I have one of those, oh God, what's it called? It's got a name. Zach has it really bad too. When we're in a car and there's something like tapping or moving around in the back seat, like misophonia.
Oh, like
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
We both have to stop the vehicle and figure out where the fuck the noise is.
I do the same thing in the semi.
It bothers me so bad.
Yeah, if I'm driving the
it's
semi
just like
and something's rattling behind me and it's just like while I'm driving, I'm just like, where you at?
I can't. Like, no.
Yeah, turn up the music or something so you don't hear it.
No, I have to fix it. Like, I will, like, bang on something
Like,
to
where's
fix
it at? I'll find it.
Oh my God. He and I both, like, we will stop the vehicle and just both of us look.
Really?
At the same time.
Well, that's good. You both have it.
Is it though?
Well, it is. If one person had, the other person didn't. Like, I don't know why you're like this.
Oh my God.
You know,
It's gotten so much worse too. So bad. All right, this one's.
all right.
Describe your lowest moment in life. How did it help you grow?
Whew. One of the things about getting out of the military that I don't think many people understand is that when you're in the military, you're in a barracks and there's guys everywhere, female Marines too, whatever. And there's always something to do. You know, you walk next door. If the door's open, you can walk in, you can talk to people, hang out with people, whatever. You know, you got these people over here playing video games. You got these people over here just talking. You got these people over here drinking. You know, if you have a car, you can go grab 5 or 6 people, go out in town to a restaurant and go see a movie. I mean, and these are people that, you know, you go through the shit with. You know, the military is not easy. It's not fun. But you meet some great people. Great people. And I think the hardest part is when you get out and you go home and you're at an empty house and it's silent and there's
That's
no
why you
one
don't
around.
like it.
That's one of the reasons why I don't like it. And it's one of those things where if you haven't been there, you don't understand it. But the silence is so loud. And most of the time, the people from the military are all over the country. And sometimes you'll get lucky; they'll live close by you. But in my experience, most of those people are all over the place. There's a few in Michigan, a few in Indiana, but it's bad. And then, you know, you come home to an empty house, and all your friends have moved on. You know, you're in the military for 4 years. You come back, some of them are married, some have kids, some are doing other things, and then, you know, if you want to hang out with them, you're the third wheel, and, you know, there's no relatability because they weren't in the military. You know, all they say is you've changed, but they don't understand what you went through or why you went through it because they were never there, and the only people that understand were there. You know, so I think one of the best things that got me through that was getting that dog, because when you come home and you have a dog just excited to see you, you know, and you're spending all your time with it, and it kind of forces you to get up and go to the dog park and go for walks. And, you know, sometimes the highlight of your day is just waking up and moving and you hear that tail start thumping. You know, it's one of the most beautiful things. And she really saved me, you know, because without her, I don't know what would happen, but yeah.
She was a good dog.
She was the best. She was the best.
She was so cute. So little.
So little.
So tiny.
That was a little deep. How about one more?
Okay. We'll do confessions.
Oh, no.
If you could bring someone back, who would it be and why them?
No, that's not fair.
No, it's not. I won't do that one. Because that was obvious.
Yeah.
This one's really deep.
Okay.
How are you? But be more transparent than usual.
Well, that was deep. Well, it's hard to keep that short and sweet. It's hard to accurately verbalize in a way people understand how much emotions veterans have, but they only see one. In the military, you're kind of taught to bottle it up and just get angry because they want you angry in the Marines, just to, you know, whenever you're in combat, you just take it all out on the enemy, right? But when people get out, especially veterans, you know, people see the rage. They don't understand that it's every single emotion in the rage. And obviously it's not all veterans, but there are people that are just angry all the time, and people are like, well, he's always mad. Well, it's not always just anger, right? It could be loneliness, it could be disappointment, it could be frustration, it could be whatever, but a lot of veterans have just the one emotion, and that's all that people see. So when they see someone that's just always angry, it's just like, well, he's always pissed off, he's always stressed out. Well, he's fighting a war with himself, with his past self, with his future self, with his current self, you know. And it's one of those things that's hard to accurately convey verbally, because unless you've been there, you don't understand it. So people that haven't been there, it's like trying to tell them that, this is how you fly a kite for the first time if you don't know what a kite is. You know what I mean? So it's
Trying to explain to a blind person what a stop sign is.
right. Yeah, it's frustrating. And it's important to understand too that, everyone's just out here trying. It's very important. And the older I get, the more I realize it's important just how you treat people, because you have no idea what they're going through. No idea. So it's important, just to say hi to people, try to include people when you do something, just say hi to a stranger, could make their day,
Probably will.
Probably will.
Like that little man that held the umbrella over my head. That made my day.
You should make a TikTok about that.
I did.
You did? I need to go watch that.
You didn't watch it?
I might have watched it. I see so many TikToks.
I know.
Yeah. It's all one big blur.
I know.
Unless I save it and, hey,
Send
Chelsea.
it to me.
Hey, Chelsea. Hey, Chelsea.
Anything else you want to talk about? You did great.
Yay. Podcast Cherry Pops.
Woo!
First time for everything.
Yeah.
Well, it's important to see, where you were and where you are now, and the direction you're going.
You saw that. These people didn't.
I saw it, and it's incredible, and it's nice to see you pushing forward. It's especially when you're the first time doing something and you're unfamiliar.
Scared.
But I see the support Zach gives you, and I see the determination you have, and I see, where this is going potentially and all that, and I'm proud of you.
Thanks. All right. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it
Not a problem.
a lot. Like and subscribe.